Hello and welcome to another fabulous edition of the Brew Crew Review. I'm Craig. Over to my left, this is Vince Travato. Also joining us on set here today, of course, is Scott Bartell. Also, Chad Collins will be joining us shortly. He's in transit, so he should be here for the next segment. But let's get it kicked off. First of all, we've made some changes to not only the set, but the content of our show today. We got some viewer feedback as far as what we can do to make the show better. So we're going to we took them up on a couple of the recommendations, and we're curious to see what you think at home. We came straight from our softball games a lot of times. Just looked like we maybe woke right up out of bed and stumbled upon the set, which wasn't exactly inaccurate. But anyway, it was recommended that we maybe do a little dressing up here on the set to look more professional. And even though we're not professional in any way, shape, or form, we thought that we'd put on that type of facade. So that's why we're here in pinstripe suit. Vince looking sharp as ever. Of course, Scotty over there. Scotty.
It's a new suit, Greg.
It's a brand new suit. That's nice.
Suit.
Thank you.
Purchased just for the Brew Crew Review, I take it?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Channel 14 will get a receipt.
No, they won't. But anyway, all right, let's move right into our topic, and that, of course, we're talking on our show, of course, is about the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, the Brewers have been strutting along this season. Most of the second half, a couple of games under 500. They here in the midst of a long homestand here on the Friday at the end of August. Tragedy, if you will, struck the Milwaukee Brewers, and in the form of an injury to their ace pitcher, Ben Sheets. The initial diagnosis that they came up with actually was that it was just a strain, and it turned out to be a torn. So it's very likely that Ben Sheets will end up missing. He went on the 15-day DL, and he's likely to miss the rest of the season. Let's go. We got some video captured by Vince and myself in the the Brewer locker room right after the victory on Friday, August 26th against the Braves. Anyway, here's Yost, kind of optimistic about it not being such a harsh injury. Let's go to some footage of both Ned Yost and Derek Turnbow talking about their fallen teammate.
Strain of his lat. It's not shoulder, it's not elbow, and we'll evaluate him tomorrow, and he'll be day to day. We don't know if he's even going to miss a start. We'll just wait and see. So it was almost like a cramp more than anything back here in his lat, and so we think he's going to be just fine and dandy.
Prior to that, he pitched an outstanding job.
He was lights out. He really was. Both pitchers threw phenomenally well tonight. They both had great stuff. They were both hitting their spots, but Benny was really about as good as Benny could be up to that point.
Was it nice for the offense to be able to take advantage again of one of their errors, and you guys made it count?
Well, it was nice to be able to manufacture a run right there in the first inning. That's big. Anytime you can get on the board early with a pitcher like Benny or a pitcher like Doug or Cappy, it helps. You still have to add on, which we did, which was huge. But it was to score that first run gives Benny a little room to work with.
Last couple of games, Lee has been coming around with the bat.
Been working hard on trying to get his swing down, and that was a big home run that he hit tonight. I told Mike the way that the game was going that Benny was almost going to have to hold him right there. The one run was going to have to hold up because Ramirez was not making any mistakes. He was throwing a ball that would kind of cut away from the right-handers and bore in on the lefties, and had a real sharp, tight cutter that he was busted in on the righties, and he wasn't making any mistakes with either pitch.
He hadn't complained about any tightness or anything before.
No.
Did it look like he was just trying to put something really extra on there or anything?
No, just strained his lat on a breaking ball. He kind of felt a little bit the pitch before the chipper, and then really felt it on the next one. But again, it's just we think that it's just a strain of the lat, nothing serious.
You went out there to check him, your heart must have been in your shoes at that
Well,
time.
when I got out there and saw what it was, that I didn't work, I was a lot more relieved than, the first thing you think is shoulder or elbow, but when I saw it wasn't his shoulder or his elbow, and then he was cramping in the back there, then, I didn't worry about it from that point on. I just was trying to figure out who we were going to bring in to get that last out.
Eveland did a nice job on Franco.
Eveland again did a real nice job, yeah. We were looking to try to get just that one out to get to Turnbow. I mean, we thought for a brief second of bringing Turnbow in that situation, but he'd thrown 2 consecutive days before. And, you know, with the pitcher coming up second the next inning, we didn't really want to double switch there. And we knew that, you know, with Eveland, if we got there, Eveland would be facing Franco. And Franco, one of the reasons why the Atlanta Braves are the team that they are is because they've got a deep and solid bench. So, you know, that was a big point in the game for Eveland right there to get Franco.
I see how I feel when I come to the ballpark the next day, and if I feel strong, then I think I can go. If I don't, then I kind of tell them that maybe, you know, I might need a day off, but I can go if you need me. But I just take it day by day. You know, I don't know how many days. It depends on how many pitches I throw each night. So I just take it, you know, one day at a time.
Basically what you're going with the heat, or do you mix it up with the break and stuff?
I'm trying to. You know, I face these guys right for the All-Star break, and you know, they're a very aggressive team, and I'm trying to give them something else to look at and hopefully get them out with us. So.
Psychologically, a club could go down in spirits if someone like Ben gets hurt, but this club seems to have the resiliency still hangs in there.
Oh, well, yeah, we did tonight. I think we felt pretty confident we could win, and I think everyone was just concentrating on trying to get the win, and hopefully Ben will be all right, and we'll check on him after the game and just go from there. So.
And we're back, as you saw there, somewhat upbeat Brewer clubhouse after their victory against the Atlanta Braves, and also after the injury occurring to star pitcher Ben Sheets. You saw Yost saying that he could just be day-to-day, and of course Derek Turnbow talking a little bit about coming in, saving the game for Sheets' 10th win, and you know, wishing the best for his teammate. He's going to be out anywhere from 4 weeks to 6 weeks, and of course there's only about 5-6 weeks left of the season, so that's why it's very unlikely that they'd bring him back, rush him back for any reason outside of us possibly being a wild card contention. And at this point, it really possibly puts a damper on the Brewers' chances in their goal of reaching the 500 mark here in the 2005 season for the first time since '92. Scott, what do you think about this loss of Ben Sheets and basically what he means to the Brewer organization?
Well, this guy really is he's the heart and soul of the organization. Really, you could argue that he could very well be the #2 star in all of Wisconsin, behind Brett, of course. But really, it hurts. I'm sure his presence is missed in the clubhouse, and just that he's not able to go out there and take that. And when you figure that, not only that, but as a #1 starter, now we're replacing him with, well, a #6 starter, really, if that. So it's definitely going to hurt the team, and, well, there's really not much else you can say about it. It's costly to the team. It hurts.
My question right now is, what other options now do we have for the rotation? We have to find somebody who's going to not only step up and be a #1 starter, but now fill the back end of the rotation as other guys have to move up and step up to the plate. I mean, what do you guys think are some of the options that we have, and are we going to be taking guys from the minor leagues or the bullpen? Rosters expand on September 1st, so that's a possibility. We could bring up somebody from the minor leagues. We could try to convert somebody like Capuano into a starter, De La Rosa into a starter. Helling started a few nights ago. I mean, what are you guys' feelings right now about who might potentially step in and fill up the slots in the rotation?
Well, my feeling is that they do have options within the organization, which is good, obviously being past the trading deadline and all. I think that's good. I think they're going to give someone a shot. But and everyone else, as far as filling a #1, starter spot like that, it's kind of irreplaceable. But what we simply do is move everyone else up in the rotation. Doug Davis, Capuano become your #1 starter. Obviously, Capuano's having the best season with, as of this taping, 14 wins on the season. And then you got Doug Davis has been solid all year. And also, you move up someone like Tomooka, who we acquired for Junior Spivey, and has filled in pretty admirably and effectively in the #5 spot. Because of the ineffectiveness of our former #4 starter in the first half, and Victor Santos kind of falling out of favor and not having a good second half, he's kind of getting pushed to the side, and in doing so, Tomooka has to not only now move up to #4, but he's now would be our #3 starter as we go throughout the season. And he, in my opinion, is a pretty solid #5, but he's not a solid #3. he's average or below average number 3 starter. So it definitely weakens our team at the utmost, being one of our most valuable players. So how you fill that in, maybe it's lucky the fact that there's 4 or 5 weeks left in the season. I think with the expanded rosters in September, we could use the depth that we have at the higher minor leagues to fill in, not only to make our bench deeper, but to give us more options as starters and even in the bullpen. It's been a patchwork job all year, and it's been done brilliantly by Mike Maddox, who I kind of want to, let's talk about Mike Maddox just for a quick side note second. Is this guy one of the most, what do you think, Scott? Is this guy not, in my opinion, he not only comes and consoles his teammates and his,
it's a Mike Maddox touch,
job.
folks. It's a Mike Maddox touch.
Yeah, it's a Mike Maddox touch. If you don't know, he basically not only comes out and consoles his pitchers, but he's really helped mold all these young pitchers. The Brewers have one of the best ERAs, both starting and bullpen in the entire National League, and with the amount of talent that we have, I think Mike Maddox is really optimizing it to the utmost. And here we've been dealing with injuries with some of our better bullpen guys like Matt Wise, Julio Santana. Now we're dealing with Sheets. He's got to get the best out of the rest of these guys, and I think he's been doing it. What do you think, Scott?
Well, he's definitely done a great job, especially with the bullpen. But if you look, even last year, we had a lot of question marks. Even Capuano and Davis at the beginning of last year were total question marks, and they've really developed under him, so it's worked out really well. I would say that definitely, though, it goes with the bullpen. He's done a lot of work there. We started off with the closer by committee. Now we have one of the best closers in the league with Turnbull right now. I really think that this is an opportunity for other people to step up now, unfortunately. I mean, our guy is down, and now we got to find somebody else to step up. I mean, nobody's going to be able to replace Ben Sheets, but Mike Maddox, he'll be able to, hopefully, well, we're just going to have him pull off one more miracle, I guess, for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Okay, say you're the pitching coach, say you're Ned Yost. Let's just go around, throw out 2 names. If it was up to you, your decision, who would you throw in there in the number 4? Name the first guy named be your number 4, and your number 5 starter, the next guy. Meaning the number 5 starter is only going to have a couple more starts the rest of the season because they might skip him on the off days that we have here in September. So throw out the 2 names that you'd like to see fill those spots and the opportunity to be given here for the rest of the season. Scott, let's start with you.
Maybe not necessarily the 2 people I'd like to see, but at this point I want to get a better look at these people at the end of this year as opposed to waiting till next year. I want to see what we have out of these 2. I would really like to see De La Rosa get a start. And another guy that we haven't mentioned that might get a call-up, I think it's actually probable, would be maybe Obermuller. He really didn't perform very well this year. Hopefully whatever he was trying to work on in the minors, hopefully that paid off. You might even see Glover, but if I have to pick 2, I'm going to say De La Rosa, and I'd prefer to do Eveland, but I guess I'm going to say, it's really a crapshoot at this point. I would say I can't give Helling another spot. I'm going to give.
Obermuller is a solid choice. I think they'll call him up at the September 1st call-up.
I'll probably give it to Obermuller.
Okay, there we go. Vince?
I'm going to go with Eveland and Capuano. I don't think that you can take 2 lefties out of the pen, otherwise I do De La Rosa, but I think that Capuano could eat up some innings, and like you said, as a 5th starter, he's not going to get as many innings as a starter as he would normally, just because the Brewers' schedule and the way that it's set up. So I don't think you're taking as big of a risk. You can still throw him out of the pen if you need to on certain weeks, and you can play around with that. Eveland, like I said before, I think it'd be great to take a look at him right now, AA All-Star, and he's a guy that I think we're going to want around here in the future, unlike some of the veteran guys that are sitting at AAA right now who you could possibly call up. But Capuano, because they've been toying with the idea of making him a starter, toying with the idea of making him a closer, maybe long relief. They don't really know his role yet, and I think that that's something that we might want to explore a little bit in September.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, my gut feeling is that Yost is probably going to go with Helling as a number 4, and as a number 5, he may stick with Santos for a couple more starts. And unfortunately, I don't like those options. If it was up to me, I would pick as the number 4 starter. I'd actually, and kind of a little side note on what Vince's choice is. Well, I think a little problem with those 2 young guys, I would like to see more out of them, and I would rather have those guys as starters next year as well. But from what I understand, that the organization wants to keep Eveland's innings down this year, and they're kind of worried about throwing them from the bullpen in the rotation at this point because they kind of need to stretch them out in order to become a starter again for the rest of the year. So I think they're going to shy away from that. And as far as Capuano goes, from what I understand, same deal with him, that they want, from what I understand or have heard, that they really like him as a possible setup man to Turbo next year for the whole season. They really like his stuff, and they think that's a valuable position on a Major League Baseball team. And so I think that's with that in mind. I don't know if they experiment with him here in September, especially when I think they're going to still try to win as many games as possible. So he might not be their best option. But so anyway, my choices are going to be. I would like to see him call up Obermiller and give him number 4 slot. I think he earned it with some good performances in the middle and long relief in the first half and spot starting. I think I don't know, he's been doing all right at AAA, but give him a shot. I think he's got more talent and more opportunity and upside than anyone like Helling or Santos. So give him number 4 and number 5. I agree with Scotty. De La Rosa is someone who has been not used very often enough here, and this is still a young guy with a lot of potential. And I think his future could be as a starter. So why not give him that opportunity as the number 5 spot starter for the rest of the year. So those are my picks, but anyway. All right, well, that was a good discussion, guys. Let's take a break here, and we're going to come back and do a little prospect profile. Our minor league analyst, Brandon, was unable to make it. He was a little under the weather from a late night last night, so unfortunately. But I'm going to fill in for him, and we're going to do a prospect profile on a young Brewer prospect. So stay tuned. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, we're back, and we're going to do the start of a kind of regular segment we'll have on the show, and with a little bit more info on our website each time. And once again, our website is www.brewcrewreview.com. Let's go over a couple of Dana's stats here. First of all, in 2003, he was 2-1 with a 2.04 ERA, and he had 41 strikeouts in 26 innings as a starter. Pretty phenomenal. Of course, that was at a low level. He moved up to Beloit and Huntsville, both single-A and double-A last year. Through 2 levels, he was 8-8, 133 innings pitched, 126 strikeouts, and a 2.91 ERA. Phenomenal numbers. So this is, as you can see, why the Brewers wanted to rush him up to the big leagues. This year, he was an all-star at double-A. He started the year again at double-A Huntsville. He was 10-4, 109 innings pitched, 98 strikeouts with a 2.72 ERA. As you can see, Dana, obviously, he has in the minor leagues, he's posted under a 3 ERA each year he's been. So he basically earned his promotion all the way from AA up to the big leagues. You can see he's holding his own so far. So he's someone who I think could be a future starter for the Brewers, if not starting next year, as Scott had mentioned as a possibility. So we got an opportunity to have a little interview with Dana in the Brewer locker room here after a recent game. So why don't we go to that interview and let's meet our hopefully future star for the Milwaukee Brewers, and that's a very humble guy, and that's Dana Eveland. Okay, we're here with Dana Eveland here. Dana, of course, you're a rookie here with the Brewers. You made your major league debut just over a month ago. Tell me what it was like when you first heard that you got called. Now, you actually skipped AAA, was called up straight from AA Huntsville. Were you surprised when you got the call up to the big club, or were you expecting it? Or tell me a little bit about the day you got the call and that you were up to the big leagues.
Man, that was a good day. I just got done with the All-Star game the day before that in AA, and I was hoping I was going to, make the big club at some point this year, but I definitely wasn't expecting it that early. And then when I got the call, I was still, I was in Mobile, Alabama, and 8 hours away from Huntsville. And next, I got the call, and they're like, "You got a flight at 7:30 in the morning to Milwaukee." I was like, "Are you kidding me?" It was just a shock,
And then you got to pitch. Did you get to pitch that actual day, or was it the next day when you made your major league debut?
I think it was the second game that I was up here. I got 45,000 people here. It was unbelievable. Struck out Vinny Castillo, my first batter. It was definitely something I'll never forget.
Yeah. And what have you thought so far about the fans here in Milwaukee? Obviously, that first weekend got called up. We had some big crowds or whatever. What's your overall feeling about the fans and the team here in Milwaukee once you've come up and kind of had a little while here to gel with the team? What do you think about the whole bunch of guys we got here at the Milwaukee Brewers?
The guys are great here. They haven't really treated me too bad. You hear a lot about rookies getting picked on, this and that. But these guys here, they're not really like that. They're a good group of guys, and they've treated me real well. Taking care of me and everything. The older guys definitely, taking me out. All sorts of stuff like that.
So right now, you're not even well, you might be the youngest. I'm not sure if you're the youngest rookie, but there's lots of rookies on this team. So
a lot of young guys here on the team. What do you foresee as the future of the Brewers? And a question to throw in there with you. I know that most of you, we drafted you as a starting pitcher, and you've been a starting pitcher in the minor leagues. Obviously, there's no openings as a starter here with the Brewers right now in their current rotation. Is your future goal to be a starting pitcher, or are you liking the relief role?
I mean, I'll do whatever I can to stay in the big club. I love it here, and if they want me to start next year or at some point this year, I mean, that's fine. I'll do it. If they want me to stay in the bullpen for the rest of my career, I don't care. I'd love to stay in Milwaukee. I think it's an awesome place, and I'd love to be a part of the future here. I think it's going to be great.
Excellent. So, all right. Well, thanks a lot for the interview, Dana, and good luck with the rest of your rookie season.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, and we're back. There was a little interview with Dana Eveland.
Nice interview, Craig. It went well, I think.
Yeah, he seemed like a real humble guy. I think he was kind of like a deer in headlights, just happy to be up here at the major league level. And I was kind of disappointed when he said that the Brewers haven't been putting him through very much rookie hazing. I kind of wanted to hear those stories, but oh well. But anyway.
We just wanted to toss in one thing really quick about Dana. One question that we did not ask him that we perhaps should have, and might have been the reason why he started smiling and laughing a little bit as we asked about his first moments of being told he was on the Brewers, was they actually caught him, I believe, on a riverboat gambling when he was actually called up.
Mm-hmm.
Was that?
It was supposedly 8 hours from Huntsville at the time. There wasn't a game that day, obviously, and he had to get in the car, drive to Huntsville, get on a plane, and get to Milwaukee the next morning. And
he couldn't drive himself though.
Yeah, I remember seeing him the very next day. He was interviewed after the game at Friday's Front Row Sports Grill or whatever, and anyway, so he had a long day and probably exciting for the young guy. But anyway, moving along here. First of all, we forgot to mention Chad has joined us. He finally made it to the set.
Thank you. I'd like to commend you guys on your suits. Unfortunately, the only suit I own is my birthday one, and Channel 14 and Time Warner sent us a memo saying I could not wear that today, so I just have to dress a little casual. But you guys look nice.
I actually also sent a memo saying you could not. So.
Even though you guys have suits on, there's still some foul smells coming here from Mr. Bartell, even with the suit on.
Deodorant was not required, I was told.
Deodorant wouldn't help. I hope you don't use deodorant in that
As long
area
that's the great thing about television. The fragrances that we give off, even when we're out on the road, when we're here on the set, they can't be picked up. Luckily, technology has not gotten to that point where that's possible because, believe me, viewers at home, you're benefited by this. So,
indeed. It's very
anyway,
masculine.
speaking of some of our adventures we've had this year, and since we've started the Brew Crew Review, remember, check out our past episode clips and what have you on brewcrewreview.com, our website. But before we get into that, we had a loss, if you will, on our most recent trip. We mentioned it in the last episode, but yep. Chad, do you remember what happened to our good friend Vince here?
I remember it distinctly. I was nearby him on a raft, and once again Vince fell. And after it said no rafting, we continued onward, and Vince fell, hit his head against a rock, and lost his precious aviators. So it's Vince's.
So they were lost in the line of battle, while serving the Brew Crew Review, and so here. All of your colleagues here at the Brew Crew Review, felt bad about that loss. And anyway, I think we should all bow our heads just for a moment of silence for the aviators, because there were many fond memories that we had of the aviators, and Vince had helped them do a lot of things that didn't be with a lot of people and females and what have you that he wouldn't normally have the opportunity to be with because of this glasses. So let's bow our heads just for a quick moment of silence.
Can't talk about this.
And anyway, moving along with that, here at the Brew Crew Review, there's a little tribute, and so that you never forget, what got you here on the show.
Appreciate that.
We put together a little bit of a highlight reel of some of the fond memories both yourself and us had with the aviators. So let's go to that clip here. Again, Vince and his aviators.
The sweet, sweet memories you gave of me. You can't beat the memories you gave of me.
Take one fresh and tender kiss.
The memories you gave of me.
Add one stolen night of bliss.
You can't beat the memories you gave of me.
One girl, one boy, some grief, some joy. Memories are made of this. Don't forget a small moonbeam. Fold in lightly with a dream. Your lips and mine, two sips of wine. Memories are made of this. Then add the wedding bells, one house where lovers dwell. 3 little kids for the flavor. Stir carefully through the days, see how the flavor stays. These are the dreams you will savor with His blessings from above. Serve it generously with love. One man, one wife, one love through life. Memories are made of this. Memories are made of this.
All right, and we're back. That was, of course, a great memorial to what we're going to now refer to as the Aviators 1. That is Vince's pair of aviators that got him through the first year and a half of the Brew Crew Review.
They're actually Brian's that I stole.
Yeah, well, they weren't yours, but
we made them mine.
Neither here nor there.
Possession's 90% of the law.
They were in your possession at 100% of the time, for as far as I was aware. But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone has a lead on how to get Vince a replacement set of aviators, feel free to email us at brewcrewreview@yahoo.com or post on our forum.
Yeah, in fact,
whoever has a good lead on aviators, if you could possibly put that up for us.
Appreciate
us
that,
as his
guys.
colleagues looked into the fact, what can we do for our good friend Vince? How can we cheer him up from being down so far? And what we did is we all pitched in. Scott got the money out of his sock. I don't know.
I don't know about this. West Dallas, Wisconsin. I don't know.
Chad cashing his gambling winnings, and I took a stipend from my brewer paycheck, and we came up with
a
gift.
No.
For our good friend Vince.
You've got to be
These
kidding
will now
me.
be referred to as the Aviators 2.
Guys, I don't know how to thank you all.
And ladies and gentlemen, he is back.
I appreciate that. Guys, thank you so much. I had no idea. This is great. Guys, I don't know how to thank all of you. This is incredible. I'm actually in tears underneath the Aves right now. The Ave 2s, and I love you guys.
You were getting misty-eyed during the segment.
No,
actually,
I love
the
you guys.
reflection.
But there'll be a whole
quit smoking
a whole future and more memories attached to the Aviators too. So
Guys,
with
thank
that
you.
being said, let's
Thank you.
we'll move on. And actually, we've got some viewer emails. We have
Mr. Collins.
We've discovered we actually have more than one viewer now.
Yeah, a lot of emails.
Several
coming
people
in.
have mentioned that they've watched the show actually. So that's great. Besides just Scott's mom, we have other viewers, and this is great. So
most of those emails were nagging about me to wear a suit like this. So. Instead of the shorts, I know I got a lot of hate mail on that, so hopefully people are happy now. I know I am.
But anyway, actually, before we get into that, there was we got some viewer email, not only the questions, but we also got some recommendations. We need to look more professional. We kind of looked down on that, but we're like, we'll give it a try one time and see how that goes. But we also they said that some of our show segments were funny, but they said that we needed to add some more humor. So there were. And if you could stay on camera too for here, there were some suggestions given to us through the, and I think you have one of them there. If I can read that again, there were some suggestions on how to.
It's on the that page.
Yeah, on how to. This is from just anonymous viewers on how we can make the show more funny. And it's actually explicit
Brewer
instructions
Chica
here.
3.
Actually, it says...
Brewer Chica 3 is the emailer, it looks
yeah.
like.
Okay, we'll try this. This is supposed to bring humor to the show, so we'll try it. Actually, if one of you guys would... Scott, would you volunteer to stand up? And it actually says it. Scott, it's actually requesting you here. If you wouldn't mind standing up, we're going to give this a try. The humor,
Okay.
Just go ahead and stand up in
Try
place or
this.
whatever.
I really don't know about this.
And, no, you're good. And then just face this way, I guess.
Okay.
And they said for the humor, it says, all right, well...
I wouldn't read that out loud.
Yeah,
I'm just
okay,
gonna go through
we'll
with
just
it.
go ahead with the motion. Got licorice here, and we got this.
Yeah, that's a horrible idea.
And it basically says to throw a hard object at the growing region of a co-host, specifically Scott here.
Specifically me?
And they said that should bring humor, so I don't know if it worked.
I thought that was
but,
pretty funny, actually.
You viewers at home, hopefully...
Greg, looks like you got an arm
found
for the
that funny.
rotation. We might have found a fourth or fifth starter here for your Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, I tried to zip it in there, but Scott, I don't know if you're
Cat-like
wearing protective
reflexes.
gear there, but...
Well, no,
actually, can I
this
see
is all
that for a
natural.
second?
No, you're going to throw it again.
It's all right.
This is horrible.
All right, let's move on to our email.
Yeah, and again, our emails are flying in. We have a winner of 2 club infield tickets for the email of the show. And once again, I'm going to get 2 more club infield tickets. Any Monday through Friday non-club game you pick it, we'll get you 2 club infield tickets.
So keep the
It's a
email coming on in.
$70
In
value.
fact, if you want to send your email questions directly to Chad, he's going to be our email rep here for email questions. And that's chad@brewcrewreview.com. Also, check out our website. It's got all of our personal emails. If you want to talk to Scott about how his growing's doing, that's scott@brewcrewreview.com. Vince about the AV2s, that's vince@brewcrewreview.com. If you want to talk to me, I'm possibly available on the weekend if you're ladies. That's craig@brewcrewreview.com. So anyway, Chad, let's get right to that email.
Yeah, here's the email. I think this is the winning email. This is coming from a Mark Anton. Anton from Forest Home Avenue.
Oh, it's
it says
Greenfield.
here, on Forest Home Avenue. It says here, Mark Anton.
Okay.
Hello, fellas. Love the show. You guys do a great job. Vince, sorry about the Aviators. Nonetheless, Brewers have made many call-ups recently, such as Prince Fielder and Corey Hart. We know Nashville from your last episode, will be in the playoffs soon. Do you think it's better to have Prince Fielder and Corey Hart playing every day with playoff experience in Nashville to get them ready for competitive baseball? Or do you think it's better to have people like Prince Fielder up, but just sitting on the bench and pinch hitting every once in a while? Keep up the good work. Please don't use my name. Thanks, Mark Anton, Forest Home Avenue, Greenfield. All right, well, that was a good question by Mark. What do you guys think? I mean, that's a pretty good question. Corey Hart is playing every day, Mark. I don't know if you knew that or not. Apparently you're not watching many games. But Prince Fielder, again, is just pinch hitting every now and then, and he's been down and up, down and up. I think Mark brings up a good point, that maybe it is better for those guys, or at least Prince Fielder, to be in AAA, getting playoff competitive experience in there every day. He has been very hot. What do you guys think? Do you think it's better for him just to come up and pinch hit every now and then, or should he be playing every day and getting playoff experience? What do you think about that, Scott?
Well, it's a good question for Mark, and honestly, I might know this, Mark, and he actually said that Ben Sheets this year was going to throw 3 or 4 no-hitters, and unfortunately, it was an injury-plagued year. Otherwise, I'm sure he would have, Mark. But it's a good question. I would rather see him up here. I think it does more for our fans in Milwaukee. Unfortunately, they're going to suffer in the playoffs then. But I guess I'd just rather see him up here.
Okay. What do you guys think, Vince, Greg?
Well, I go back and forth. Mark, he does ask a very important question. I go back and forth with Mark all the time when we send these emails and things. But my gut instinct is that we should have these guys up in the big leagues. I don't think that the AAA playoff atmosphere is going to be the best place for these guys to get their feet wet. I really enjoy the fact that they're up here with the club, and quite frankly, I'd like to see the Brewers finish 500, obviously, this year, and I think that these guys are going to help to contribute with that. I think that the bench has been one spot that we've been so-so on. Wes Helms has put up good numbers, but we still have Chris Magruder on the bench. We've had some other guys who have been only so-so, and I like these young guys on the bench.
So do you think it's more important for the Brewers to finish 500 or for Nashville, people like Prince Fielder and Corey Hart and Krenzel to get more experience
Well,
playing in
I'll
playoff
chime in
competitive
there.
atmosphere.
I think that I don't know if we should necessarily gut the Nashville team. Obviously, they've played together as a team the whole year. For us to call up every single prospect from that on September 1st, when their playoffs are starting the second week in September, and it's that might be a little harsh.
Playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Not the playoffs for the Brewers, but of course for the AAA team that of course we visited last episode, they're very likely going to make the playoffs. And well, from what I can understand is that the bottom line though is that these players are property of the Milwaukee Brewers, and that they're drafted and their sole purpose is to help the Milwaukee Brewers win baseball games. So if the team and the management, as they do, think that guys like Hart and Fielder can help us this September to win ball games, then they should be up with the club. I agree that getting valuable experience as part of a team and a championship and getting camaraderie with guys you're probably going to play with in the big leagues and likely the Brewers in the future would be a great experience. But with that being said, the playoffs go in about mid-September, and now with Hart and Fielder already being called up, I don't think it's really a good option to send them back down, because actually the way the rule states, once you send a player down, they have to stay in the minor leagues for 10 days before you can call them back up unless they're a pitcher and it's because of injury. So with that, both if we send Fielder and Hart down, even after the AAA season ends, they'd have to wait, So and we wouldn't call them back up to the middle of September. So does that help the Brewers? I don't know. So I really think we're going to keep Fielder and Hart up. I don't know if we'll bring up that many more Nashville Sounds maybe before the middle of September, unless we really think that we need them to contribute. So I can't foresee anyone down there that we really need to come up right away. So I think we'll stay, and if we expand the rosters, it'll just be getting guys like maybe Wes Obermiller and other veterans back up.
It's a good
of course,
question.
Jeff Cirillo.
From Mark.
It's a good question that Mark from Fort. Oh wait, we can't use his name, but it's a good question. What he brings up though, because there is something about pressure situations, even though it isn't AAA and just playoff competitive experience. But now with Brady Clark back, I don't know how much more Corey Hart's going to be playing. He did play today, the Sunday day game against Atlanta, but that was just to give Jeff Jenkins a blow. So,
And we have some tip about Corey Hart, a possible future position. There was an anonymous source in the Brewer ticket office that...
talking about
TC.
Tom.
Oh,
Carter?
Tom Carter. Yeah,
Anonymous.
Tom Carter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, him.
Actually,
Anonymous.
he told us,
Anonymous,
and
Craig Anonymous is
Tom Carter? Oh, yeah.
he read somewhere on something called the internet. I guess that they have that on computers
Oh,
now.
the thing Al Gore invented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He read it somewhere that Corey Hart's going to be sent to the Arizona Fall League to try out the third base position once again. They tried him out previously in the minor leagues and it wasn't really working out, so they decided to shift him back to the outfield. He was naturally a first baseman, but with already Prince, Sexton in the system and stuff like that, they decided to move him. So maybe he'll get a shot with the Brewers as far as a regular position, or just to increase his versatility as a utility guy, so he can be on the Brewers next year in the Arizona Fall League. So thanks for that tip, Mr.
Okay, we're here with Brewers pitcher Chris Capuano. Chris, you've managed to have a great season here with the Brewers. You recently won your 14th victory. You actually became the first Brewer since Cal Eldred to win more than 12 games. Pretty much, tell me what type of adjustments you've made as a pitcher here in this season with the Brewers, as opposed to last season, to really to bring you up to that next level.
Well, I've been able to stay healthy this year. Last year I battled some injuries, and I changed around my routine in the off season and my in-season program that I follow, and my body just feels a lot better. And bottom line, that's the biggest difference. When you feel good, it's a lot easier to make pitches.
Okay. And also, you currently lead the major leagues in pickoffs, first base. Tell me what it's like. How did you get such great skills of picking off runners? Obviously, being a left-hander, you have a natural advantage over a right-handed pitcher. But tell me, when did you first start working on that? I know that you played baseball, high school. You went to Duke University, where you were drafted by the Diamondbacks. When did you first really start working and becoming known for that type of as a pickoff pitcher?
Well, being left-handed, it makes it a lot easier. So I would always pick off guys in high school and college, but it didn't really get good until I learned how to pitch out of a slide step, which is, instead of bringing your leg up into a high kick, you just kind of go straight to the plate. And that makes it a really deceptive move for me, because rather than just stepping towards home, I can kind of step halfway between first and home, and you just try to make it look like you're going home, basically. And to the runner, they can't really see exactly where your foot's stepping. So it's a lot more deceptive, especially if you can be quick about it. And then, having that quick move to the plate also makes your pickoff move quicker, so they have less time to get back to the base. So it's just something I kind of worked on, and I still work on it every day playing catch. I make sure I practice a few of those throws every day.
Excellent. And in that whole scenario, how much does the rapport with the first baseman have to do with you being successful at actually picking the runner off? Like, do you guys have to be on the same page? Obviously, the reason I'm asking the question is, do you have an advantage with Lyle Overbay as your first baseman? Obviously, you guys came up through the Arizona Diamondbacks system together, came over to the Brewers organization in the same trade. How much does Lyle help you out as far as how important is that rapport with the first baseman?
It's important because Lyle pretty much knows almost every time when I'm going to throw over. You know, he's seen the move so many times that he has a good idea. So, you know, he's not going to ever get fooled by it or break off the bag and then have to go back. So, just him knowing how I pitch and me knowing, what it's like to throw to him all the time makes it a lot easier.
So the history of the player really does make a difference. That's great. Is there any truth to the rumor that I heard that at one time in the minor leagues, when you're in the Diamondbacks system, that you actually picked out 3 runners in the same inning?
Yeah, I remember that. I can't remember if I walked the bases loaded or what happened, but I remember 3 runners got on and I picked them all off. So
that's quite an accomplishment. I don't think I've ever heard that done before, either at the minor or major league level.
Yeah, that's something I probably won't ever happen again for me. I know that.
Another thing I heard actually is that the Arizona Diamondbacks came to town here recently, and you probably have a lot of good friends going through the minor leagues with a lot of Diamondbacks there on the roster. I heard that you're good friends with pitcher Mike Gosling, a rookie who actually is from Madison, Wisconsin here, a rookie pitcher. Tell us about your relationship with him, and I guess you didn't get a chance to face him during our series, but I heard something that you were going to, and this is probably just a joke, but you were going to allow him to get on first base, get his first major league hit as long as he allows you to pick him off.
Yeah, Mike's a good friend of mine. We came up in the minor leagues together for a few years with Arizona, and he stays with me in the off season, and we do our workouts and stuff like that. So pretty good friends, and yeah, that was it was a joke. Obviously, I never let anyone get a hit intentionally, but I told him, I'll throw you a cookie, get your first major league hit, and you let me pick you off. We could both pad our stats, but yeah, never worked out. I guess one of their starters ended up, needing an extra day, so it screwed everything up for us. But that would have been cool.
Oh, well, maybe sometime in the future, guys can face off, and then it's always nice to face a good old friend. Okay, getting back to the Milwaukee Brewers Baseball Club here, the Brewers have been hovering just under 500 for a good portion of the second half here. I'm sure you're aware of the fact that the Brewers have not been over 500 for more than 12 seasons. How important do you think it is for the fans here in Milwaukee and for the Brewer organization themselves and the chemistry of the team for them to be able to reach that goal, maybe stay in the wild card race for a good part of September, and possibly break that streak and finish over 500 and look toward the future?
It's very important. That's our major goal at the start of this season, was to become a winning franchise and start bringing winning baseball back to Milwaukee. So, that's something we're focused on and working towards. And, this is such a great baseball town that, they deserve a winning team. So we just hope that, we can provide it for them. Because we know, even when we haven't been winning, the turnout's been great. People are coming out to the ballpark and they're excited about baseball. So, who knows what it'll be like when we actually start winning more games and become a contender.
All right, well, good luck on the rest of the season, Chris. And again, you've had one of the best seasons of a Brewer pitcher in a long time here for a starting pitcher. And so that's quite an honor. And possibly the Brewers will take up the honor and give you maybe a bobblehead next season if you stick around with the club.
Yeah, there was actually some voting online, but I think Derek Turnbow's leading the way for the new bobblehead, so we'll have to see.
What would you think of if you had a Derek Turnbow bobblehead? Would you set one right up here in your locker?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think with the shag he's got going, he'd look better as a bobblehead anyway.
All right, well, maybe you can both get one next year. So anyway, Chris, thanks again for the interview, and good luck for the rest of the season. All
right, thank you.
Take care.
Nicely into our next segment, and that is a brand new segment.
It's exciting, folks.
And it's
seriously,
exciting.
Seriously, Wisconsin, you're all gonna love this.
In the
you really are.
True form,
you really are.
We've given Scott his own segment, and we've tentatively titled it "Where in the Hell is Scott Bartell?" And Scott, where were you when we captured this video?
I think you guys ran me down. I was participating.
You like to kind of mosey out in and about and
I like to
see what Miller Park
around.
has to offer the fan and kind of interact with the fans and some of the activities that they do.
Also, you almost caught Andrew Jones's home run ball today.
Which one?
Yeah.
Well, the second one. The
second one.
He was
probably in the back. Yeah.
Crushed. Yeah.
Probably running around in the first one somewhere. Who knows?
Yeah, it was kind of bad. Yeah, I pretty much just wander around the stadium. Usually, my favorite pastime is to, try to play different kinds of games or whatever. In this one, it would happen to be skee ball. I usually try to take on different competitors, mostly people that I think that I could actually probably beat. And well, it's a fun little skit. It's a nice little pilot. It might be canceled after this, but we'll see.
Well, we'll see. This is his first installation.
The other thing is, Scotty, when we found you, you're actually out there alone. Is there anything to that? I mean, we're all your friends. We'd go with you to the games. We'd hang out with you once in a while. I mean, mainly on camera, but
with young children.
Sometimes
we found you out there alone. I mean, what's the deal?
He wasn't alone. He had a beverage with him.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
okay,
you're never alone when you have a fine beverage.
But anyway, let's go ahead and go to the segment.
In skee ball, I'm going to put up 2 free Brewer tickets to anybody for the August 26th game, to anybody that can beat me, but honestly, I'm sure I'm going to win, so it's no big deal. All right, Scotty.
Where in the hell were you, Scott?
That was interesting.
I know you tried to beat that 10-year-old kid in skee ball, but you finally found someone that could basically beat you at your own game, and that's skee ball.
You know, this has been a pretty humbling episode for me. First, I have objects being thrown at my groin. I have a videotape of getting beat by kids in skee ball. It's been rough. It's been rough.
Let's move along, and let's go right into our next segment. And of course, just recently here at the end of August, the Brewers honored Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker, their longtime radio announcer. And we've got a little bit of highlights of his acceptance speech here, as they unveiled, of course, Bob Uecker sign up by the other retired numbers in the top of Miller Park in the outfield, and it says 50th anniversary is Bob Uecker, and that's a great tribute to Bob. So let's see a little bit of that ceremony happened here at Miller Park.
I am forever indebted to Bud Selig, to the Brewers organization, to Wendy Selig-Prieb, to Mark Antonazio for making this night possible, and Mark for that wonderful contribution to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Thank you very much. My first manager ever in baseball, Bertie Tebbetts, while playing in a game over at County Stadium, after my first game, told me that I should think about becoming a broadcaster. I remember walking on the field over at County Stadium, and Bertie Tebbetts asking me about my first big league game. Was I nervous? Was I uptight? My family was there. My dad had come to this country as a soccer player. Well, he blew up the balls. He didn't play. He blew up the balls is what he did. but to see him do it without a pump, it was an unbelievable thing. And after telling Bertie Tebbetts that I was not nervous or uptight about this first Major League appearance, he said, well, let's go get him. And by the way, the rest of us up here wear that supporter on the inside. And from there on, the rest is history. My family is here tonight. I thank them for all of their love and understanding. They're not actually here. I have them over at Helfer Field. I hope they brought radios. I didn't want to go the full route for a suite here, so. But on this 50th anniversary, I was talking with Mark earlier tonight, and I said I would like to do this again on my 100th, 50 years from now. Yeah. Wherever I am, dig me up, bring me back here, a couple of times around the warning track, and take me back to the hole where you picked me up. Thank you. My association with the Brewers and the state of Wisconsin, and you fans in particular, has been nothing short of marvelous. I can think of no place else that I would rather be as a player, as a broadcaster, or as a citizen than right here in Milwaukee or the state of Wisconsin. We've got a baseball game to play tonight. I'm heading upstairs in a couple of minutes. But again, to thank everybody in this organization, from the people in the ticket office, my good friend John Barnes, Tony Miliaccio, Dan Larea, all of the kids who work in the Brewers clubhouse, you in particular, Phil Rosowitz, your gang over there, and each and every player that comes through every Major League ballpark that I've ever worked in. Without players, there can be no broadcast. My thanks to each and every one of them. And Ned, our friendship will continue for a long, long time. And again, to all of you, our fans and our state and baseball fans all over the country, I've appreciated everything that you've ever given to me or done for me, and I thank you for this night. Thank you very much. Let's play ball. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
All right, as you can see there, the fans in Milwaukee very appreciative of Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker. Let's go around our round table here and think, what are your thoughts? You guys are here at the Brew Crew Review. What do you think Bob Uecker has meant to baseball in Milwaukee since he's been involved with the organization as their radio announcer?
Baseball in Milwaukee is one thing. He's really been an absolute staple here through really through thick and thin. I mean, we've had some good years in there. We've also had some bad years in there, and he's really stuck through it, and he's always kept the games entertaining. Really, he's invaluable to the organization. I really think definitely hats off to him. 50 years, it's a long time to be doing anything.
Anyways, yeah, same thing. That was nice tribute, Scott. That was a way to bounce back. Wow, Scotty.
You guys seem shocked that I was capable of putting together a full sentence.
Same thing.
Nice rhetoric, Bob Uecker is obviously, when you think of Milwaukee Brewers, you think of Bob Uecker. I mean, he's even on the cover of our media guide this year. I mean, there's no one more recognizable to the organization than Bob Uecker. So, and we have to give him a lot of credit because he could have went to Chicago or New York or Los Angeles, or he could have went to the networks. But he decided to stay in Milwaukee. So.
And that loyalty really pays off. I think it means a lot to the fans here in Milwaukee. And what a great voice, a great personality on the radio, and he always keeps. And actually, while I was at the stadium taping part of the opening ceremonies, I overheard someone say, and I found this to be very funny, is that they were like saying over to their friend, they're like, "That guy's seen more bad baseball than anyone in America," and that probably hit it right on the head.
Does he work for Tampa Bay?
But he's been able to make listening to Brewer baseball a very enjoyable experience, even during the rough times, because he's able to, ad lib and entertain, and basically his desecrating humor basically fits right in with the Milwaukee Brewers, because if the Brewers can't laugh at themselves, then they wouldn't still have a team probably. So, but anyway, on a personal note, he conjures up great memories for me. I remember when I was in grade school, falling asleep every night listening to the Brewers on my alarm clock radio, listening to Bob Uecker calling Rob Deere home runs and what have you. So anyway, the guy's just great personality for baseball, and congratulations to Mr. Uecker. And like he said in the acceptance speech, hopefully he's here for another 50 years. He wants to have a 100th celebration.
He could maybe outlast Jimmy.
It could be. Well, it's between Jimmy and Bob, but I really love Bob Uecker, and I love the fact that he's diverse. He's a guy that can talk about baseball on end, but he's also a guy that can provide just complete humor. Half the times he's not even talking about the game. If it's going a little bit bad for the Brewers and we're in a bit of a rut, you just hear, "Oh, it was a ball," but at the same time he's in the middle of a story, so it's even barely part of it. And I kind of like that fact that he can not only do that, but then he goes off to Hollywood. He's in Mr. Belvedere. He's in Major League, which I think is one of all of our favorite movies, and provided some great lines and some exposure to Milwaukee when our team, frankly, wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, anyway. All right. Well, great episode again, guys. Again, send in your viewer email to chad@brewcrewreview.com. And again, if we pick your email in the next show, you'll win a couple of tickets. And we might pick a couple, time permitting.
We'll
give away a bunch of tickets.
I'm going to dig deep into
the next episode as we wind down the series. You can, as we try to cheer the Brewers on here, depleted pitching staff nonetheless, but we're going to try to will the Brewers to a 500 finish for the first time in 12 years. So this is going to be an exciting finish, and for all of you Packer fans out there, just stick with us. Stick with us. There's still a month of baseball to be played, and we're planning on winning some games. Darn it. So anyway, until our next episode.
Well, one more thing. I'd also like to extend a hello to Drew Olson from another member of our episode team here, the unit. Gives a big hello, and I guess we'll explain a bit of a story at some other point, but that's all I'm going to say for right now. So hello, Drew.
In fact, if you want to hear the full unit versus Drew Olson story, it's very fascinating. Email Vince at brewcrewreview.com. He'll shout you back with some
written anecdotes. We'll talk a little bit about Drew versus unit and the battle royale that is to come. So.
Yeah.
You know what else? I'm sorry. I also have to throw out a hello to a lovely model, Nicole, who is now featured on our website, because while she went out of her way to show off crimped hair, which is actually pretty phenomenal.
All right. Back to, once again, if you haven't seen, check out our website. It's Brew Crew Review, www.brewcrewreview.com, and there's some great stuff on there to check out. And again, shoot us an email, and you can possibly be a winner of some tickets prior to the next show. So,
well, there's one thing to remind the viewers, Craig, Chad,
that's
Scotty.
Right. Camera 2.
Camera 2.
Stay classy, Wisconsin.